It's an exciting Saturday morning. Welcome to Politics Today. I am Wilson Omasho, standing for Sonny Duke Okosu, who is unavoidably absent. And guess what? Today is his birthday. So happy birthday, boss. If you see him, wish him a happy birthday. Today on Politics Today is all about the matters arising in the Ruga settlement issue. Yes, it's been suspended indefinitely, but we're having reactions from all quarters. And of course, in Osun State is all jeers and cheers for ADEGBOYEGA OYETOLA, the winner of the Supreme Court verdict. When we talk about the 2018 governorship election in that state, he was able to defeat Adeleke. Yes, Supreme Court verdict, a split vote, 5-2. We'll talk about that also. What does it really foretell for the people of that wonderful state? With me here in the studio to throw more light on this discourse, I have to be very close to me, a legal practitioner, Barrister A.B. Thomas. Barrister, welcome to the show.
Good morning to you and viewers at home.
All right, so very close to him is a lecturer and of course a legal practitioner. Join me, welcome. Should I call you Comrade?
Doctor.
Doctor. Dr. Daudu, call me doctor, very fast. Doctor.
Of course.
Dr. Daudu, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate your coming.
Thank you.
And my extreme left, I have a journalist, a public affairs commentator. Join me, welcome Tony Era. Welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning, audience.
All right. We have two topics before us. I'd like us to start off from what transpired in the Osun State election, where the Supreme Court, yes, divided vote, split vote, 5-2, declared, maintained the victory of ADEGBOYEGA OYETOLA. After much agitation from one court to the other, the Supreme Court finally put to an end all the argument. You have any other thing? You can go to God. Barrister A.B. Thomas, how do you feel about the judgment?
Well, Supreme Court is the best court in the country, but I feel very sad. I feel very sad that this same Supreme Court that has been in a plethora of legal authorities condemning technicalities in legal procedures has suddenly itself again gone technical. You see, this is an electoral matter, and we thought the Supreme Court will have the opportunity of examining the different facets of the election that produce the current governor, OYETOLA. There was an election in Osun State. Thereafter, there was another rerun where everybody felt Adeleke had already won. And that matter went to the tribunal. The matter, the trial lasted for several weeks, at least 180 days. That's about 3 months. But for just one day, a judge did not sit. And erroneously, that same judge was allowed to make comments as to the two witnesses who testified on a particular day. For that reason, the Supreme Court nullified the appeal and gave the judgment to OYETOLA. All I'm trying to say is this. We all know that when you go to the court of first instance, the judge who sits in that court is the person who can, let me use this ordinary language, so everybody can understand me. That judge who sat at the first sitting is the person who can evaluate, who can say, this is the demeanor, the behavior. This is how I evaluate the exhibit tendered. But that judge who was absent was not the only judge. There were 3 judges who sat in the panel. And the 3 of them wrote their own separate judgments and agreed that Adeleke won. But when the case went to Court of Appeal, the Court of Appeal said, look, this particular judge did not sit on a particular day, on the 6th of February. Therefore, his contribution to the entire judgment has nullified the judgment. That he couldn't have been able to see the two witnesses who testified, and he couldn't have evaluated their behavioral pattern.
All right.
Which we all know. There are so many cases like that.
Okay.
In the past.
All right. I'll come back to you now. You just hold on. Dr. Daudo, do you have a contrary opinion to Barrister A.B. Thomas' opinion? He's a legal practitioner and is not so happy about how the case came to a conclusion.
Without much ado, I'm in strong tandem with him. And I also feel so that several lawyers, or most of the lawyers in Nigeria, apart from those who may have one affiliations, that we have a contrary view to what we are saying here. First, before a tribunal is properly constituted, the issue that be argued is that whether the tribunal was properly constituted, and not whether one of the judges was not sitting on a particular day. The reason is that the facts, evidence, and arguments that were canvassed are made available to all the judges, the 3 judges on the panel. It is based on records of proceedings. There's what we call records of proceedings. You evaluate all the records of proceedings, both for and against an argument, upon which a judge evaluates all of this before arriving at a decision. So the argument technically that a judge was not sitting on a particular day and that he was not capable of evaluating the evidence of a witness is not correct, because there are records of proceedings. And these records of proceedings are made available to all the judges, which they will evaluate. If the argument was that the court was not properly constituted or the panel was not properly, it's a different ballgame. That it lacks the jurisdiction to entertain the matter at the time it does, then it becomes a different matter. It comes to the issue of jurisdiction. But if you say a judge was not privy to records of proceedings in a panel in which he was made a member, I do not agree with that. That is why my very learned senior here argued that the Supreme Court has, in federal cases, have jettisoned the issue of technicalities as against the merit of the case. In this case, only 2 judges look at the merit of the case, and I heard, although the certain opinion now, that Adeleke won the election. But the remaining justices do not look at the merit of the case. All they did was to say, in view of the fact that one judge was absent on a particular day, and I saw the entire process, if they have jettisoned that aspect of his opinion on that day, that would have been a very decisive decision. But for you to say the entirety, because what they are saying technically is that the tribunal would have said they have lack jurisdiction. Because what the Supreme Court is saying is that they ought not to have gone ahead to give a judgment.
Because one judge was not there.
So what they are saying, what they are saying technically is that they should have declined jurisdiction. The question is that, do they actually have the jurisdiction to try the matter?
Good question. I'll come back to you on that. Journalist, learned colleague, and of course, friend, Tony Era, do you have a different opinion?
Well, I am not a learned person. By what the position I'm going to make here, I would want the audience to see me as a layman. Yeah. But a layman that I am, we are the butt of whatever judicial pronouncement and the effect they have on the society. I would say that a society where you have black market judgments, where things are not seen the way it should be, is a society that is way back. It's a society that is medieval. And I would say also that according to the detail, the judiciary is the hope of the common man, is the hope of the rich, and the hope of the poor. Where justice is sacrificed on the altar of expedient actions that don't go with, don't tally with what it should be, it's not something that is good for the grassroots. Knowing fully well that they are point of references where it will have to continue to serve the public. But where it is buried, I think the public is the one that is at the bottom of it, is the one that is at the mercy of it. Because knowing fully well that a good judgment that is not a market, the other way around, has a way of deepening democracy and have a way of giving the best to the society.
All right, from what he talked about, a society that bases justice on a black market injunction. He didn't mention any country or state now. You were talking about you not being happy about the Supreme Court judgment or verdict. But still, technicalities mustn't be thrown away or jettisoned in a robust judgment. Don't you think the orders that said, look, ADEGBOYEGA, you remain the winner, based in fact on technicalities of judgment, they are right in what they just oversee?
Look. This is not a land matter or chieftaincy matter that affects one or two people. This is a matter that not only affected the entire electorate, but is going to be a precedent for the over 200 million Nigerians. So the society is the greater loser in this matter, not Adeleke or Oyetola. We are the losers. I, as a lawyer, for instance, I have been denied the opportunity of knowing whether the rerun that was conducted after Adeleke was clearly in the lead was correct or not. I have been denied the opportunity of knowing. I have also been denied the opportunity of knowing whether vote buying, which was one of the issues canvassed, is now legal in Nigeria or not. I'm also at sea to know whether when election takes place and you say soldiers, DSS, policemen were used to rig election, whether it is legal or not, I'm at sea. All these things were not looked into, except those two justices who say, look, we have to go into the entire thing. Like my learned friend said, if you have subtracted the judgment of that judge for that one day, shift the shaft. Let's know what is there. Then we would have known. Now, having been denied all these opportunities, we have nothing like a precedent in law to hold on to. Because they just did their judgment like that and came up with, well, we don't need to go into the merits. This man did not sit on this particular day. Yet, he gave a judgment describing what happened to those two witnesses. That is not substantial justice. It is not a substantial justice that we can now say, when similar cases happen in future, we will cite this case as a precedent, what we call stare decisis in law. We have to follow precedents of the Supreme Court as they come. But when you now take just 1 point, like my friend said, was there a quorum? The quorum for a tribunal of 3 people, of 3 judges, is 2. Why not expunge that of that judge? If you can't remove that of 1 day, expunge his entire judgment. And let's see if the other judges, their judgment still makes sense.
All right.
Having not done that, I believe this is a judgment. I know you will object to what I'm going to say. I believe it's a judgment arising out of intimidation. Because some groups of people have been saying these people are being intimidated to give judgment one way or the other. How else can you describe this kind of judgment that throws away the baby and the bathwater?
Okay, a case of intimidation, that is what Barrister A.B. Thomas is anchoring on. But now let's take a look more into the technicalities of this judgment. Is it right for a judge to preside or judge over a case in which he or she is absent.
I've said so before.
Now, let me draw a distinction. Which was the error?
Hold on. Is that not going to discredit the whole process?
No, you get my picture clear. You see, the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal were led into an error. When you are deciding a matter, it's not the judge, it's the court. Don't use the word judge. Was the court properly constituted?
But was the judge present?
Allow me, Professor, so that you appreciate what I'm saying. Was the court of the tribunal properly constituted? That's the first argument. The question is that, can the judge, on ground that he was absent for a day, give a judgment in the proceedings, in the entire proceedings of the court or the tribunal? That's the argument. It's two arguments. One, was the tribunal properly constituted? Two, is the judge prevented from giving a judgment on ground that he was absent for a day? It is only when you have been able to situate these issues that you can now say the judgment was either wrong or paikuda or given error. Now, in my opinion, humbly, I have argued that the judgment of the Supreme Court is in error, with due respect. The reason being that, upon what ground was the entire judge or entire judgment nullified? On grounds only that a person was absent for a day, or that he made comments on the day he was absent. Now, if you go further, the Supreme Court has not told us who won the election. They have not said OYETOLA won the election or ADEGBOYEGA won the election. They didn't say so. They only went to say that in view of the fact that one judge was absent and they gave the judgment they gave that day was a nullity. They have not told us whether ADEGBOYEGA, from all the relation, ADEGBOYEGA won.
And this is bad.
Or OYETOLA won. They didn't go to that. So it creates a lacuna for us lawyers to determine who wins the election. As we speak, no Nigeria can come up to say that OYETOLA wins the election or ADEGBOYEGA won the election. We are not aware. But what he said is that a judge gave a judgment on the day he was not present. The issue is that, was the tribunal properly constituted? Right. Was there a quorum on the day in question? There was a quorum. If 2 out of 3 have sat and they gave a judgment, it's the judgment of the tribunal and not the judgment of the judge. That is where we are getting it wrong. It's the tribunal that pronounced. It's not a judge.
Okay. You just hold on.
When judge makes, let me just cry a decision. When judges make statements in the course of delivering a judgment, those are the reasons for the judgment and not the judgment. There are reasons for the judgment
and not the
judgment. So the judgment is given by the court or the tribunal and not the person and not his opinions. Opinions sometimes may be persuasive, but they are not the judgment himself. As he argued, they will go and get the ratio of a judgment, the standard decisis, and the opinions, the obitas of judges. You don't rely on the obitas.
Well, when lawyers are talking or legal practitioners are talking, you have to really listen, bring out the terms and, of course, the technicalities of their terms. I believe that you are flowing with it. Well, if you want to be part of this show via WhatsApp, you need to just send your comments, #PoliticsToday to 080-387-26759. You see it displayed on the screen for our WhatsApp users, okay, on this particular topic, ADEGBOYEGA OYETOLA victory, Supreme Court verdict, #PoliticsToday. And of course, I just chip it in so I can get to differentiate, okay, to 080-387-26759. Now, Tony, you've been smiling when the legal practitioners, they're like venting their displeasure over the judgment. Now, still basing this on technical grounds, the Supreme Court, though nobody have the right to say they are right or they are wrong, you can simply air your own views and, of course, your own opinion based on technicalities. Do you think they have a right to bring out such a judgment?
Well, like I said earlier, I am not a lawyer.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about technicality when it comes to but I know that a judicial pronouncement comes almost saintly, if not saintly. And a judge that precise on a case is next to God. And there's no way godliness will not play. It is just like, let me put it in a balance. You have a situation where there is a puzzle, because any matter that is taken to a court is a puzzle where a solution has to be found out. The ideal solution, weighing all the pros and cons, weighing all the deliberation before you come to it. It is just like calling an oraculist to say, solve this problem. Then the oraculist dribbles around without coming to hit the fact and say, this is the solution. That is what I think my gentlemen are talking about. And when you give the public a position where they will be prevaricating, where they will not know really what step to make in a country that's supposed to be theirs, the suspicion is now that the judiciary or the court of law is not to be trusted, right? And when citizens begin to think like that, you will see that their own option is to go extrajudicial. We have to have confidence in our judiciary. And I will now ask, what is NJC doing? What is NBA doing? What is all the board that has to do with the judiciary doing? We have to entrench it, because we know that the judiciary is the last hope for democracy. Because from what we are seeing a democracy where the executive is lawless, where the legislator is not playing as
all right, now, you wouldn't use that term, executive being lawless, because they are just trying to do everything to work within the ambit of the law. So when you say it's lawless, you are not so correct, sir.
Well, if I say judiciary, I mean the executive is lawless, I'm not saying it is entirely lawless.
It's a political term, it's allowed.
I'm not saying
executive rascality.
I'm not saying.
Media speaking, because that is like an indictment on the executives. So please.
Yes. Yeah. If the executive is to be indicted, you have to indict the executive.
But also that they are lawless.
No, if the executive is lawless, you have to say it's lawless. It's one way or the other. The executive, like I said, in this situation, where it has to do with interpretation of the law, where the three organs that we know that are supposed to be independent are allowed to play their independence, then you can say all are not lawless. But where we now see ourselves in a state of jungle, there's no way you cannot interpret lawlessness into it.
All right, I will come back to you, sir. Whatever they say here is entirely their own opinion. It has nothing to do with ITV, but we do our best possible to make sure they follow the rules and regulations governing the airwaves. You talked about intimidation. Yes. We have judges voting now. The judgment is not a situation whereby only one judge will say this is the verdict. We have retinues of judges for and of course against. Where is the intimidation coming from?
Good. Before this judgment was passed, one of the parties to the case was already saying that the other party was already intimidating, using federal might to intimidate the justice of the Supreme Court.
Now, these are allegations.
Allegations are allegations. And there is no way you here sit down can prove it, nor can I prove it. But the fact was that they cried foul before now. And it was in all papers. You are a journalist. If they cried foul, and from what we are saying, since I became a lawyer 33 years ago, I have never seen a justice of the Supreme Court arrested in his house on allegation of suspicion at midnight. I've never seen it in my life. I am 33 years old now as a lawyer. So NBC or no NBC, the facts are there that this is the administration that has arrested Supreme Court justices. And if this is also the first time in the history of Nigeria, the Supreme Court Chief Justice of Nigeria is being removed by a motion ex parte, by an inferior court like Code of Conduct. These are things that even you, if you were a Supreme Court Justice, you get frightened. So if these things can happen in Nigeria of today, 2019. And more are likely to happen. You cannot expect that these justices who have children, they have families, they want to lose their jobs just because of one judgment. They will never give it the way you want it. They will give it the way you want it. But whether such judgments are in the interest of the general public is what I'm concerned about. If I go to court today and I'm doing a case and I cite a Supreme Court judgment, I expect the High Court judge I'm talking to, I expect the Court of Appeal to obey, to take that judgment and obey it. But in this particular case, like my little friend said, who's a PhD holder in law, has the Supreme Court told us who won the case? Have they told us how they arrived at the judgment of a person? What they not even told us who won the case. Therefore, how they arrived at the facts that led to the person winning is not there. So if it is not there, are you happy about it? Am I going to be happy about it? Many of us are even thinking of retiring. In law, in legal practice, we don't retire. Only God or He head retires you. But with what is going on in the country today, the lawyers are not happy. The people in Osun State, some will be happy, some will not be happy. It's the nature of life. But the issue is this: how he won? How did he win? You pick one thing. Oh well, these people are on our neck. We are afraid. We don't know what will happen tomorrow. If we give this thing to this party, we have been giving to that party, and now they are threatening us. We can just give it. What's our business? Let it happen. You forget that there's no other court they can appeal to.
All right.
In those days, we used to have West African Court of Appeal. There's no more worker now. So the Supreme Court should be bold enough, the justice there should be bold enough to give judgment, forget about the threats and intimidation.
All right.
If that is why I have been saying, I can never work for government in my lifetime, not because I have money. The reason is that I can't take instruction from any human being.
Okay, thank you, Barrister A.B. Thomas. Now, for what just transpired, is like many persons are not happy, some others are very, very happy. From your own analysis, Dr. Daudu, should the justice system in Nigeria not to be trusted?
Well, I wouldn't say so. The justice of this country should be trusted. But peculiar situations and peculiar circumstances sometimes may determine the outcome of an election or outcome of a case. For instance, in this instance, is some peculiarities, some forces that may have swayed the justices. Because if you look at the tribunal, because I enjoy the tribunal judgment. The tribunal judgment says that the rerun elections were self-repeated by INEC, and as such cannot be relied upon. That a person has already won the elections before your own council results, another election has already been conducted, tasted. Then on your own will wake up from your slumber and cancel the election and conducted a rerun that it was self-inflicted that cannot be relied upon and declare them invalid. What lawyers were expecting to hear is to now look at the variations on that, whether or not the rerun elections that were conducted by INEC were valid or not. That is what we are waiting to see. For you to not come out suddenly to say that a person was not, one of the judges was not there on the day of great judge, is to remove the whole process from the tribunal and place it on the judge, which is wrong. You have removed the whole process from the tribunal, which was properly constituted, and rely on the judge's statement to say that whatever the tribunal did was a nullity, or grounds only that the judge made a statement on the day he was not there. It is wrong. As we have said, as my senior has said, Osun people, Nigerians, who won the election? That is the first question. Who won the election? Because the judges of the Supreme Court are silent on that, on who won the election. They argue that the person who delivered judgment ought not to deliver judgment, and as such the judgment they deliver was erroneous.
If I may just do, sir.
All right.
If I may, no, just 1 minute, just 1 minute. 1 minute, please. You see, this scenario happened in Awolowo versus Shagari. And that was in 1979. And the Supreme Court went ahead to declare that Shagari won by 12 to 3rd of states. And after that military, after Ambassador handed over, The Supreme Court on its own in 1980 now warned lawyers, don't cite that case again. We get that judgment so that the army can go. That there's not like 12 to 10 of states in Nigeria. Can you imagine that?
Now,
Can you imagine that?
with all this, now, Tony, can Nigerians trust the justice system?
Well, it's one way, it's this way and this way. I would say yes, and I would say no. Now, what we're talking about is the miscarriage of justice. And when justice is miscarriage, then the blood continues to flow. Is that what we are talking about? I would say, well, the judiciary has done quite well. But what we are talking about now is a situation where the apex body of the judiciary that is supposed to be godly has done so much errors for us to be able to now doubt the Supreme Court. Is that not what we are talking about? When it comes to that, how are you going to think that you will ever trust such a body? Now, imagine the OYETOLA case, right from the tribunal. It was given to the opponent before a court of appeal. It is as if we slided down again. Is that the way it should be? We should upgrade ourselves. We should upgrade ourselves because a judiciary that cannot represent the truth about what it should be is not the one people should have. And I think that somewhere along the line, we are going to have a problem with this judgment. Just like he said about Awolowo and Shagari, the case of Professor Chikeobi, the two-third imbroglio. I think Nigerians have to do something.
Okay, I wouldn't want to go further on this particular discourse, talking about ADEGBOYEGA's OYETOLA victory, Supreme Court verdict. You've heard them, but the highest court in Nigeria, the apex court, is the Supreme Court. They delivered their judgment, split votes, and it favored ADEGBOYEGA OYETOLA. Yes, still the governor. And a delegate talking about the PDP candidate has congratulated OYETOLA, though from what he said, he's not really happy about the judgment, with so much misgivings, celebrations in the street, and of course some are mourning. Let's just keep our fingers crossed and keep watching the justice system. They've done their bit. Let governors continue. For WhatsApp messages, 080-837-26759. Just hashtag politics today. Tell us what you feel about this discourse. Later on, we're going to bring up the phone numbers for you to call in into the show. Now, it's all about Ruga. Due to pressure, the president vowed, saying the Ruga settlement program that is suspended. If it's indefinitely, we don't know. Some are saying that it should have used the word expunged rather than suspended. And of course, there are reactions from some ethnic group. They didn't go down too well with the suspension, and some words were said. I don't know. Let me start from you, Tony. What do you feel about all this? Matters arising in the Ruga settlement suspension.
Well, thank you. I would say it is unfortunate that at this point in time, when Nigeria is passing through the tunnels, more of the things, more of the policies that aggravate our situations are being pushed in. The Ruga settlement you were talking about, what is Ruga? Ruga is a Fulani word for a settlement. In the past, we were told about cattle colony, and we were told about game reserve. I mean, ranches. Not ranches though. We were told about reserves for cattle and hares. I think the use of the word is semantic of Ruga is an evil word that has just been dressed up to mean something that most Nigerians have been against. And when you do it, that Nigerians are suspicious, it is bound to ignite a flame that we have seen that was just building up. Please, I would like to give you a recap. And the recap is that I haven't been an activist. I had worked in so many states of this country, especially in Taraba State, where you have cattle roosts and all that, sneaking all through and all that. For so many years, we have been in this problem. But the problem just came to a headed situation for the past 6 years or so. And why is it? It is because the issue has not been properly handled.
Okay. Just hold on. Now, Dauda, they talked about the suspension, and a body came out to issue a statement, and Nigeria has been reacting to that statement. Some are calling for arrest. Others are saying they are speaking the truth. Talking about the statement, we are Nigerians. We have rights to stay wherever we want to stay. To prevent us from having that right, it may not go down too well with us and, of course, the communities around us. How do you view that statement?
Well, the Ruga settlement and the controversies surrounding it are issues that are now bedeviling the country. But the reaction of some group.
You just hold on. We have a call. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Good morning. Welcome to Politics Today.
Good morning. This is Amos from Benin.
Okay, Amos, go ahead.
Good morning, my panelists over there. I wanted to ask a question on the concerning this Osun State this thing yesterday I gave. I want to ask, is it right for if they are in any case that
Yeah, go ahead. We're listening to you.
That any case, if the three judges that were there at the beginning of the judgment, one is later not there, is it right for them to continue with the judgment?
Okay, thank you. 052-290-573. That is a number to call. He asked a question which I believe you've answered in course of this discussion because I asked that question. So go ahead with the Ruga settlement matters arising.
Okay, thank you very much. You see, the Ruga issue, which some have argued, was to Fulanize the entire country. And the reactions following the suspension by the federal government of the proposed project, let me use the word proposed project, and the statements be credited to some groups in the north, which I believe was stated out of uninformed position. Well, I think the situations flow from the chairman of the Northern Governor Forum, Solomon Lalong, has actually put in the proper perspectives where he has cautioned them to be democratic and apply the source of civility in their reactions to issues that concern national unity and integration. I believe, of course, that persons who made such statements in the North were not speaking for the North.
Okay.
And that were just speaking for Nigerians.
For Nigerians, okay.
But they only held their view from an uninformed position.
All right. You just don't have a call. Hello. Good morning. Welcome to the show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Daniel. I'm calling from Benin.
Okay, Daniel. We're listening to you.
Yes. I think that judgment, I think that is faulty. I think that has been really established in the studio. But my real concern is how long the whole process has taken to get to this point. The governors in Osun State have been affected by this process. I don't think the governor has done anything meaningful in the state since the beginning of proceedings. And I feel that this has to be reformed. If we know that he is going to, if they have known that he's going to win this judgment, then let them have decided it a long time ago so that I can face people. I don't think they've done anything meaningful in Osun State for the past how many months that I have been there. Then down to this Ruga settlement, I feel that the reason for suspending it was not even because of the agitation of the people. It was because it was coinciding with, or it was going against the livestock program that was already set up. So people that are jubilating that they listen to them, I don't think so.
All right.
It was because of a clash in the policy between two programs. That's why it was stopped.
Thank you, thank you. These are from the WhatsApp messages. Good luck from Benin City. The judgment is so shameful. Drawing a conclusion of a matter based on a segment is unbelievable, most especially the Supreme Court perceived sentiments in the judgment. Now for our second WhatsApp message, I wonder if members of this panel read the judgment of the Supreme Court. Otherwise, why are they emphasizing only the absence of judge? Supreme Court gave 4 reasons to validate the appeal court judgment. Absence of the judge with just one of them. Other reasons are: 1, you cannot cancel an election that did not hold as being canvassed by the PDP. 2, the rerun election was a part of the election, so it cannot be invalidated as a tribunal held. I fully believe every lawyer will always be partisan. My submission, Prof. Emmanuel Olga. Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Bishop Iso from Sabogida.
Okay, Bishop, go ahead. We're listening to you.
Let me start by wishing Sonny Joko Koso happy birthday.
Okay.
I will say that this Ruga settlement, I think it's a nice thing that the president has to have a reason by suspending it. That I think suspending it is not the answer. It should be total cancellation. Because many people don't seem to know what this Ruga settlement means. As far as the government is concerned, that Ruga settlement, they will have a very, very vast area of land, almost a local government area. They will have all the amenities there, water will be there, light will be there, schools will be there, roads will be there, everything will be provided for them there. Hospitals will be there. Then the question I will ask, in Nigeria today, in most of our states, how many states have good roads, have pipe of water, have good hospitals, have good schools? To me, you may have one or nothing. And again, that statement credited to that northern leader. I think that statement is hate speech. Because you cannot tell the president that he should withdraw his statement and that the people living in the north who are not northern, that they should leave the north.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Bishop Iso. By saying famous, the Ruga settlement matters arising, the threat issued by a group, and of course the reprisal, or will I say the reprehension of the leaders of those group by the Northern Governors Forum.
Well, I don't blame those who issue the threats. They are right, unquote. When they first issued the first threat, asking the Igbos to leave the north, were they arrested?
But they want not to do it again.
Were they arrested? Was Asari Dokubo warned in Yenagua when he was arrested and placed on the ground for almost 2 years? Was he warned? Now, this is a fact people are running from. Since a Fulani man became president in 2015, the whole thing has become issue of Fulanization. We have not done anything tangible in this country since then. No single school has been built.
Now, hold on. Barrister A.B. Thomas, you have to please watch your emotion, all right? Watch your emotion.
I am telling you the whole thing. Okay.
Because if you say no single thing has been done, you're not being fair.
Listen to me.
You are not being fair.
Now, it took our president in 2015 almost 4 months to form a cabinet. He has been sworn in now for a second term. Today, he's now making it 1 month and 5 days. No cabinet. And the people he has appointed so far, out of the 6, 4 of them are Fulanis. Now, if you take your mind back a bit, you'll find that this threat you are talking about now is not new. When it was first issued, nobody was arrested. This second threat, they should even go beyond it because nobody will be arrested. But if a Benin man issues that threat today, you will be arrested. That's one aspect. Since this issue of Fulani herdsmen destroying farms, involving themselves in kidnapping, ransom demands, no single person has been arrested. No single person has been prosecuted.
But Said Famous, I wouldn't want you to ascribe a herdsman to a particular tribe, okay? Because the herdsman can come from any tribe.
Please.
So I wouldn't want you to just target a tribe.
I go through Benin Akure Road every week. And we know from a person of no less a character than Chief Olufalaye, his farm has been invaded severally. And a man who also become the Secretary of the Federal Government of Nigeria, he knows the tribes. He knows the tribes. And from those who were arrested recently, they were all Fulanis. I am not saying other tribes cannot take part in kidnapping. But wait a minute. Fulanis in Nigeria, as at the UN and CIA calculations, as at May this year, constitute 3% of Nigeria. Or the population of Nigeria. How come you want to establish a radio Fulani? What is the business of government? Did government establish ITV? What is the business of government to create a special TV station, a special radio for Fulanis? No, the government also came up with this issue of ranches. People ask government, ranches are businesses for individuals. Why will you commit our commonwealth, our resources, to take care of an ethnic group for their own private businesses? You didn't say anything that time. We spoke. They went from there and changed it from ranches to colony. The Benin State Governor, Otto, kept on shouting, I don't want this in my place. They went ahead and put signboards. The governor drew attention to it. Look, by the Land Use Act, all lands in states are vested in the governor of the state as a trustee for the people of the state. But now federal government wants to seize land. Government, the only big government has sent to National Assembly, this current assembly. If you want to take over all lands in the riverine areas and waters, why? So that the Fulani herdsmen can have water and grazing area. Is there any land the federal government is taking for Benin or Yoruba or Igbo? Where are you from, Isha? Okay. Is there any land government is taking for you?
Right now.
Why is this government interested?
Right now, it's been suspended. It's been suspended.
It's been suspended. To re-strategize.
It's been suspended. Gentlemen, our time is up. Our time is up. Our time is up. We have barely a minute and a few seconds to go. So 30 seconds each. Please, gentlemen, be judicious with your time. Summarize. Yeah, from you, Tony, okay. Please. Yes.
I'm afraid that the road that the Buhari government is taking Nigeria to is not the road that will lead Nigeria very well, because he is not a president of the Fulanis. He's a president to the whole Nigeria. But that a single tribe now dominates the whole tribe, and the government now holds forth for the tribe is not the best.
Thank you. Your time is up, 30 seconds, but all the same is the president of Nigeria, all right? And it concerns everything about the well-being of Nigeria. Down to please 30 seconds. Thank you. Summarize.
Well, before I will summarize, just give me a few minutes.
We don't have few minutes.
Yes, I know. I know. I take serious exceptions to the WhatsApp message where the person who sent it allegedly accused the lawyers of personals sitting here of being partisan. Let me just put it straightly. The Supreme Court says that a returning officer can cancel elections already declared. It did say so. So when we are evaluating this, we have dissected it. We have looked at the pros and cons of issues before we come on air to argue them. Did the Supreme Court make a pronouncement to say that the returning officer can cancel the results already.
Thank you.
Be declared in.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. You don't need to like vent your emotions on that. It's just a statement. Come on, calm down.
Yes, my 30
Maybe for almost 30 seconds.
In 1933, in 1939, that led to the First Civil War, Adolf Hitler took this same route. In Germany, Adolf Hitler took the same route. And now, we are on the same route. At the end, where Hitler was trying to do his own Ruga there, 22 million lives were lost in 1945 at the end of the Second World War.
Definitely.
So, we are on the same route. You can't take my land, and I will look at you.
Thank you.
I will react.
Thank you so much, Barrister A.B. Famous. I believe that due to these reasons raised by Nigerians, the Rogo settlement has been suspended. As in, he bowed to pressure. Now that is the most important thing. He has bowed to pressure, and of course, Nigeria will continue to be one indivisible entity. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your wonderful analysis. Though it took a lot of willpower to watch your emotions and, of course, follow the rules and regulations governing the airwaves, I really thank you for putting that into consideration. Whatever you heard there is their own opinion. It has nothing to do with ITV radio. It's their own personal opinion. We'll keep doing our best to make sure they follow the rules and regulations governing the airwaves. Next week, Saturday, Sonny Kosu will be here. Don't forget, today is his birthday. You call him and, of course, wish him well. I'm Winston Marshall, signing off.